guys, we're going to be on page 248 of your Painless Grammar book. This is going to be talking about parallel construction, and they don't call it that on the ACT when it's on the ACT, but there are a lot of parallel structure questions on the ACT where that's what they're looking to see if you can identify. Okay. All right. So basically, when you have parallel structure, you have your sentence written, part of it's written one way, and then part of it's written the other way. And it just makes it uneven, unbalanced. It's just not a good way to write. So here are some examples of bad parallel structure. I like playing baseball, reading about sports, and tacos. So if you notice here, we have playing baseball. That's a gerund phrase, which remember is a verb form being used as a noun. Reading about sports, again, another gerund phrase. And then you have tacos, which is just a noun, but we don't have the ing ending. So that's a problem, okay? And here is how we would make it consistent. I like playing baseball, reading about sports, and eating tacos. So there I've created 3 gerund phrases. And then I've solved my parallelism problem. All right, here's my inconsistent one. We're studying equations all about Europe and to write well. Whew, all of those are different. Equations, we have a noun. All about Europe, prepositional phrase. To write well, infinitive phrase. So none of those are parallel at all. We're studying equations, European history, and writing techniques. So that creates parallelism. And again, you wouldn't have to do it this way. There's probably another way that you can write it and make it consistent. The important thing is that it has to be consistent. Okay, here's the inconsistent one. Annabelle swung the bat and the ball was hit. So here we have an active voice and here we have a passive voice. Remember, passive voice is when you have a be verb, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, plus the past tense verb, okay? So, of course, active voice is always better. So the consistent one, we have Annabelle swung the bat and hit the ball. So there they're both active voice, and it's better. All right. Basically, you always want to have consistency. Basically, throughout all your types of writing, you want to be kind of whichever way you do it, you need to stick with it, and that's important. It's also important with formatting, and she talks about that here on this page when you're doing documents. Any type of formatting, any type of writing, you just need to pick a way and stick to it, okay? Here's an example of some dialogue that's inconsistent. Inconsistent, James says yes, Meg says no, and Emily said maybe. This is inconsistent because it mixes verb tenses. Consistent, James says yes, Meg says no, and Emily says maybe. Of course, it would also be consistent and correct to write this way. James says yes, Meg says no, and Emily says maybe. I like the last one best. Here is an inconsistent one. James says yes, Meg says no, and Emily said maybe. So we've got verb tense mixed there. Here's consistent. James says yes, Meg says no, Emily says maybe. Also correct. James says yes, Meg says no, and Emily says maybe. Okay, so just make sure that you're being consistent all the way through. Okay, when you're editing sentences, you must also edit logic. Okay, make sure sentences make sense. All right, here. I want to see what you have to say. Do you know how many people who hear with their eyes? I want to hear what you have to say. I don't think so. The 100-year-old man rode his 100-year-old horse down the 100-year-old road to his cabin. What? Too many 100 years, right? The 100-year-old man rode his feeble old horse down the 100-year-old road to his cabin. That's kind of what you're thinking. So make sure you're being correct, okay? I don't think so. The pirates sailed all 7 continents seeking treasure. How can you sail on continents? They don't have water. The pirates sailed all 5 oceans seeking treasure. Okay, in our city, 80% of the children go to public school, 30% go to private school, and 3% are homeschooled. That's 113% if you add it all together. So that's a problem you're writing somewhere. In our city, 80% of children go to public school, 18% go to private school, and 2% are homeschooled. So make sure that if you're doing something with numbers, that they add up and the math is correct. All right. Don't write too choppy. Okay, choppy sentences and paragraphs are dull and boring. It makes you sound unsophisticated in your writing. And if you have a one sentence paragraph, it needs to be a specific reason for that if you're doing some sort of style. Otherwise, if your paragraph's too short, you need to join it somewhere else. Okay? Here's a boring example. My cat's name is Boris. My dog's name is Bowser. My hamster's name is Sunny. My boa constrictor's name is Tough Stuff. I have 4 pets. Those are my pets. Oh dear. Here's better. I have 4 pets. A cat named Boris, a dog named Bowser, a hamster named Sunny, and a boa constrictor named Tough Stuff. Okay, so that's better. Here's even better. I have 4 great pets. Boris the cat gets along well with Bowser the dog, but Sunny the hamster stays as far away as possible from Tough Stuff the boa constrictor. So there, instead of just telling names, you've given me some information about them, and it makes it more interesting. Okay, here's another boring example. I wanted to go to the store. My mom took me to the store. I saw a new video game there. I wanted the game. My mom let me buy it. I was happy. This paragraph is about as exciting as soggy cereal. All right. It's just a list, right? All our sentences are short. I wanted to go to the store, so my mom took me. I saw a new video game there I wanted, and my mom let me buy it. I was happy, and this paragraph is a little better, but not much. Here, we'll look at the best sentence, right? I heard about a great new video game from a friend, and I was excited to see it for myself. My mom was busy, but I sweet-talked her into taking me to the store. When I actually played the game on the store's demo system, it was far better than I expected, and believe it or not, my mom agreed to get it for me. It'd even be better there if you said my mom agreed to buy it for me, right? I was ecstatic, and best of all, on the drive home, Mom taught me how to write paragraphs that don't remind my readers of soggy cereal. So look, so much better. More detail, a lot of variety in our sentence structure, and that really, really helps, okay? And next time you're doing your writing, go ahead and look at your sentences and see if you have a variety of lengths. You should have. It makes it better. All right, repetition. All right, ready for some repetition? The football game was great. Our football team played great, even though a storm came in during the game. It was very stormy, and the guys got wet. Even though they were wet, they played great. They went to the locker room all wet and muddy, but they were happy. Everybody was happy. Well, everybody was happy except our rival team, who were also wet, but unhappy. Oh, use some new words, right? If you are having trouble coming up with a word, there's this great thing called the thesaurus, and you can just highlight a word in your document and click on it and look it up. They also have them in book form if you want to use it that way. But you don't want to use the same words, okay? And they mention here the thesaurus gives 116 synonyms for the word great. There are some listed there for you. Some synonyms for wet, storm, happy, but use some different words, okay? The football game was spectacular. Our team played superbly even though there was a downpour during the third quarter. Although the guys were drenched, they played an outstanding game. They went to the locker room soggy and muddy, but they were ecstatic. Everybody was flying high. Well, everyone except our rival team, who were waterlogged and woebegone. Isn't that great? I love that. Waterlogged and woebegone. Some nice alliteration there. All right, sometimes repetition is great for effect. So I don't want to say never use repetition, but if you're using it, it had better be for a sound or for effect, okay? Here's some common ones that use repetition, and it's skillful. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Beauty is as beauty does. Of the people, by the people, for the people. So if you're doing it for an effect, fine, but beware of repetition just because you don't have anything fresh to say, okay? All right, here are some wacky examples. One thing that I would like to do would be to maybe be a pilot. Oh, so much repetition for really no reason. It's wordy. I might like to be a pilot. Okay, better. And you could even word it, a different way. Okay. Uh-oh. Looks like I had some page loading issues.